Really good client question this week. Where should my back foot be, and should I have my back toes up or down on a rear foot elevated split squat? So the question is referring to, should my back foot have my toes up? Should my back foot have my toes down? Inherently, I think the question is going to come down to comfort, but I will say two things need to be taken into consideration when you start to add load to your rear foot elevated split squat and how comfortable that back foot position can be. If I have my toes up, meaning my ankle's at 90 degrees, my toes are pushed down into the pad, and I'm holding weights, there's more tension, more pressure being applied straight down into my toes, and that, as the load goes up, can just be uncomfortable and borderline unsafe depending on how hard you really are pushing into the pad. I don't think you'd break your toes or anything like that, but you know, your digits, they might not like it. So I typically like to coach with a foot down position, but understanding if people have a history of ankle sprains, broken feet, that level of extension in the ankle might not feel really good. So typically, how I address this is looking at the height of what our back foot is being raised on. In this case, I'm using a bench. I'm looking at my kneecap. I want the bench height to be at my kneecap, preferably just below, kind of like on that soft patella spot below the kneecap. That's about as high as I would like. Majority of people, I've found the most success working off of something that's about 12 inches. Most plyo boxes or aerobic steps are around there. If I bring in my rear foot elevated split squat stand, you can see from this position, it's well below my kneecap, whereas the bench is right at my kneecap. So for a lot of individuals, lower tends to be better. But understanding most people in a gym, they have an adjustable bench, so what do? Well, one, I'd get that foot down, and what I would do, and if you can see from this position, the closer I am to the bench, my shin, this lower leg, is now risen away from the bench. So what really matters is where that lead foot goes now and my total distance away from the bench, so that whether my foot is down, I can alleviate some of the pressure, putting my foot back, bringing my lead foot forward, reaching my leg back just a little bit more. This is going to allow me to get into a more comfortable position. So addressing the lead foot distance from the bench helps. Making sure we're on a surface that allows our foot to actually have some space to move back also helps. As you can kind of see here, there's no right or wrong answer. A lot of it, again, defaults to your comfort, but I do tend to like toes down, foot in a position that allows it to be flat. You can see from here, I'm going to be a little bit further away. And now as I go into my rear foot elevated split squat, I'm in a position where I allow that ankle to bend into 90 degrees. I'm still able to meet adequate depth.